Okay, we're
Ben,
back.
imagine not having your mics
I
figured
know.
out.
Take two. Let's try this again. Uh, Much better this time.
Welcome back to another episode of Engineering Money, where I'm Tim, and I'm a mechanical engineer in Indianapolis.
Thank you, Tim. Today, we're talking about alternative investing. I had a pretty busy week. I wasn't really looking at what was going on too much. So instead,
It wasn't a bad week to be watching what was going on.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So instead, we're going to talk about where you can put your money and have it be in places where you can brag at dinner parties.
Right.
This is the type of investing we're
Yeah.
talking about today.
Because everyone owns shares of Apple. That's not fun.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah.
No one cares.
If you want to impress someone, you don't go in and say, I own some stocks, or I have a diversified
Yeah.
portfolio."
Get out of here. You may as well have not come to the dinner party.
No, we're talking about things that
Yeah,
pique people's attention. All right. So I got my 5 favorites. We're going to make our way up to my very favorite one. But starting at number 5, we're talking about real tangible assets, be it precious metals or commodities. Okay? Gold, silver, oil, all that good stuff. Now, on the first take, we were talking
Ben,
about
how is this
lumber.
different from the materials sector?
What do you mean?
Like the materials sector is a sector of stocks.
Correct. Those are still companies, though. We're not talking about buying companies. We're talking about owning the
Oh, so it's the
asset.
difference with owning gold versus owning shares of a gold mining company.
Exactly.
What do you mean a gold mining company? The only one is KL, Joe.
The only one out there that's worth talking about.
Yeah.
No, we're talking about
Also, Ben,
having a pallet of lumber in your backyard.
Okay.
yes. Do you want me to talk about the whole
Do it, Tim.
Well,
Do
okay,
it.
fine. Logs are in surplus right now. It's just we don't have enough mills. So basically, Joey should steal all the lumber that his neighbor has. Otherwise, it's a poor
at my
financial
local
decision.
park, someone had a trailer full of 2x4s just sitting there. They're redoing their fence or something, or their deck, and it was completely unguarded.
Wow.
Unbelievable, really.
That was a gold mine.
They honestly should have had an armed guard.
Probably should have.
It was like literally a wood mine.
Yeah. So real assets are awesome. Obviously, you need space, and you need to make sure that you don't ruin the actual asset. So, like, it's cool,
Yes.
and it's something that you can say, hey, I have a barrel of oil at home. But it's really not
That's
that
actually
practical.
Not that cool.
Yeah, because a barrel of oil is like, what, $60?
Yeah, it's not
Also,
practical.
if you trade futures, these are things you can trade futures on traditionally,
Mhm.
are these real assets, and you trade them by the rail car. So
Yeah.
Yeah, the only like real tangible asset that I think is worth it are the precious metals, just because they are smaller and they're worth a lot more. So you don't need as much
Mhm.
space to put as much money into it. Okay. Number 4. We're talking about real estate. Land.
which makes sense because real estate is the physical space you need to store your real assets.
There you go. You need somewhere to put all of your barrels of cornmeal.
I don't. Corn
All
is
your
not by barrel.
Tupperwares filled with gasoline that you filled up on because there was the shortage.
You need somewhere to put it.
I'm so. I just like some people just don't understand that the gas shortage was because of the pipeline shutdown. And they're just like,
Which is over.
welcome to Biden's America. It's like, well, actually.
Nice.
But the point is, the real winners are the people with real estate.
That's right.
Who can store all of that.
Owning land.
Mhm.
Now, it's really hard to own land because you need money to start it. So,
Accurate.
for a lot of people just starting out, it's not really that great. So that's why it's number 4 on the list. But yeah, owning
You can't
owning
just buy fractional shares.
just owning land in and of itself in an area where you're like, long time from now, that land could be worth a little bit more. Or like buying a condo to rent out to get some passive income. Gotta love that.
And both these things you mentioned so far are inherently finite. There's not unlimited gold in the world. There's not unlimited land in the
Yes.
world.
Yes. Or, flipping houses. Those are good
Mm,
options, alternative ways to grow your wealth. So that's pretty crazy. Number 3, like private equity, angel investing.
Why'd you laugh, Ben?
Because I don't know. I was looking at you for some reason.
So
Tim,
owning
and it made me
companies, but
laugh.
not through public shares.
But Ben, well, actually, I know a good way to do angel investing.
Tell us.
Well, actually, I don't know if it's still considered angel investing, but there's this website called Republic.
Yeah.
There's always a website.
Yeah, it's republic.co.
Mm-hmm.
And I've invested in a few startups. You can invest in as low as like $100.
Yep.
For most of them, and there's some pretty cool things. There's one that I invested in where it was like this fake, or it's like peat made out of paper, or yeah, it's a replacement for like peat moss.
Huh.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
I had a lot of scotch today, so that sounds pretty intriguing.
Yeah. No, they're.
Yeah,
they're...
but still,
you go, Tim.
well, I've been invested in some of these for a while now, and when you're angel investing, you have to be fully prepared that your full investment just disappears.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which is definitely different from those first two things on Ben's list. Gold's never going to go to value 0,
Mm-hmm.
That's true. And yeah, there's actually a bunch of websites kind of like Republic that crowdfund differently from like what's the Kickstarter. So it's kind of like Kickstarter, but it's not all scams like Kickstarter is.
Yeah.
Right.
You do actually get shares in the companies.
Yeah, there's legitimate sites out there.
Kickstarter was like you get a shout out.
Yeah, it's like pre-IPO shares that you get.
Which I think is a good distinction to make for some of our newer to investing listeners out there. You talk about an IPO, it's the initial public offering. It sounds like, oh, that's a new company. But that company's already existed and been hopefully profitable, maybe not yet, but at least building up a presence enough to get investors interested. Whereas private equity, you might be investing in a company before anyone else does. That you might be the money that allows them to get get off the ground in the first place.
Yeah, and then if one of these companies does IPO when you're an angel investor, that's where you make the real money.
Yeah, that's the big time slime right there.
Those people buying shares are paying you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Out of the list of 5, angel investing is by far the most difficult to get into, just because even if you do have the money, you need to get connected to the people that are starting the company.
Yeah.
You can't just browse. There's no Fidelity stock screener for.
There's a lot more resources now than there were like 20 years ago, but it's still, you need to like know the guy or the gal to
right. Literally know the guy who he's starting his own company.
Yep. But you could even do it like small time too. Like if you know somebody that's starting up a business in your own circle of friends, be like, hey, I'll kick you $1,000 or something if you give me a share of your company.
Still angel investing.
Yeah. So that one's pretty dope. Number 2 on the list is investing in yourself, because we are now an inspirational podcast.
That's so wholesome, Ben.
Well, Ben, actually, that's a good segue. I want to introduce a meditation segment to our podcast. We're gonna practice mindfulness, gentlemen.
Hey, can we have a quick ASMR session as well?
Yes. No. So
yes, please.
Jesus. But there are two ways that you can do this, and I kind of put them under the same like self-investment category. Education is one of them.
Yep.
Expanding
Okay,
your
fair.
skill set that will, you could buy a $20 book or like a $200 online course that increases your skill set and makes you more money for the rest of your life. Like, that's pretty cool. Not something that you necessarily like track. But there are
It's not
returns on those types of
it's not a
investments.
passive income
Yeah.
source. These other things could be part of your passive income source, right? You can't passively have income through education.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you can actively get a lot more
And then
by
the
investing.
other side of that coin is if you have skills, like a skill set, specific thing that you're good at or you like, invest a little bit of money to start your own company. Be on the other side of that angel investment. Again,
Right.
not passive. Some people can make it so that it's part-time, but yeah, those are
Yeah,
cool.
it's all about minding your own business. Not
Good
not
one, Tim.
like in the sense of stay out of my business. It's about,
Being mindful.
Being mindful.
being
of the
mindful
business
of
that you
your
own.
own
Being a
business.
part of our meditation segments every week.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
The premium channel, Engineering Money Premium. It's $50 a month. You get
Premium.
all of our most inspirational talks.
How about Creamulum?
Ooh. That sounds fun.
We're gonna have the Engineering Money Creamulum subscription.
Wow.
Creme de la
It's
meme.
like Patreon, but kind of stickier.
Ben, I'm surprised because you've already talked about
Wait a second.
like real assets as number 5, and that's what you're kind of known for.
No.
Yeah.
Ben's the gold guy.
Well, they're my 5 favorite ones, just in terms of interest level. The gold and the silver, it's kind of boring. But it is
It's
good
true.
still.
There's not a whole world of gold and silver out there to go understand. It's like it's gold.
Yep.
It's an element.
Now, you're not allowed to skip through this episode. You need to watch the entire bit of it, and you better stay until the end, where we release our super
this is where it
extra
gets spicy.
secret special. Clickbait.
Ben, put the secret end thing where they put something in the comments in right now,
Oh.
so they can't skip to the end for it.
Yeah, exactly. Number 1, collectible items.
Oh,
My
yes,
absolute
Ben, this is-
favorite.
Ben, you better not start talking about magic.
Don't
cards.
worry, Tim. I got a bunch of things above that. So,
Wait.
wine.
Oh. Okay.
Wine
okay.
is-
I was gonna say, where
wine's
does
at the
wine
top.
come?
Because wine is a collectible item, and
Yeah.
there's
it is.
that site that makes it really easy if you don't want to actually, if you don't have the space to take care of the bottles. What is it? VinoVest.
They do it for
Yeah,
you.
VinoVest.
Yeah.
They'll pick them for you. I guess you can also pick on their site, but
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a competitor to VinoVest now.
I know there's like
but wine
whiskey
investing, I'll
ones
tell you,
and
whether
Scotch
you do it
ones.
through VinoVest or not, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Like,
And the other
Apparently, there's one called Yield Street.
Yield Street.
It's all
interesting
about
with
alternative
wine
investments.
because
Ooh.
the specific age and year that things come out, I suppose it's not too dissimilar from other collectibles, but there's just those things will really impact that vintage of wine. It's that year. It's like, oh man, if you have your 1990 whatever, then it's special because it's that year.
Yeah. Yep. So wine, whiskey, Scotch, collectible alcohols are pretty easy just because they don't really have an expiration date.
And they come in units of a bottle,
Yeah.
not a not a rail car.
Right. Yeah. So they're easy
Much
to
easier.
store and keep to yourself. Another cool one is art. If you know anything about art, those are good to get into.
Yeah,
like
art makes me
like
wet.
actual, not proofs, but actual artist made pieces of art.
Mhm.
Which is revolutionized with the invention of the NFT,
And
digital
yeah,
art.
digital art would also kind of be in that category too.
I mean, seriously, like that is, I know NFTs are kind of a meme right now, but it is technology that allows digital artists to have their original works be appreciated in art collections.
Yep.
Whereas before, it was impossible to say, "Oh, I own a Beeple original,"
Mm-hmm.
because what does that even mean? It's a
Yeah.
digital piece of art. And so now with the invention of the NFT, it can even help physical art, because you might know that like art forgeries is a real thing, you know? How many versions of the Mona Lisa are there out there? People make art forgeries all the
Yeah.
time. And with a digital non-duplicatable tag like an NFT, it can actually help the art industry altogether.
For sure. Tim, do you have any art?
No, I don't have any art.
Thank you for the complete
I don't think I
sentence.
do. You caught me off guard. I gotta think about it.
Do I have any art? I mean, looking at my walls right now, I'd say no.
Yeah. That's I don't have any originals. No.
Yeah, art.
I have
I've
some
painted
silver.
something before, so that you know, Joey Sawyer
Joey
original.
Sawyer original. Nice. Yeah, art is the
Actually, I have a piece of art
yeah.
that I sold.
Ooh.
Well, actually, I don't have it. My grandma has it, and I sold it to her. Does that count?
Yes.
So
Oh,
it-
is it the table
it's
that you
the-
made?
No. I just gave that to
Oh.
her. So its market value is $100 because that's what I sold it for
Okay.
like 12 years ago. So if I get that back eventually, then I will own an original piece of art.
Boom.
Yeah, but are you basing it on last? Because you might want to base it on bid or ask, because then you can make your price higher.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll have
If
to.
you base your art price on bid, and then offer her $1,000 for it, suddenly it's worth $1,000.
Exactly.
And then I do have one more category under the collectibles, so wine art, and then
Oh, right.
it's just anything that you are interested in and have knowledge about where a market exists.
Mhm.
And I'm going to
Oh,
show it.
Magic
is-
card?
Magic.
Yes, there you go. The magic
Yeah.
cards. But it's
Yeah.
interesting to contrast that with, I guess, traditional investments. Something like a stock that is publicly traded is required to have everything about it published. You can look it up. Unless you're an insider of the company, everyone has the same info about
Yep.
it. But if you're in a niche market for something like magic cards, there's a limited number of people. And so the way the market works is dependent on a smaller group.
Yeah.
So it can be more volatile. It can change by different things that you may know about and be prepared for.
Yep.
Whereas someone who doesn't know about
Well,
it
yeah, and like
would
for
not.
all of these five, the huge pitfall is just all of these types of investing have the potential of being so much riskier than
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
more regulated standard traditional investment opportunities, because like the possibility of like scams or fraud
Right.
or just lying, all
You
general
can
just
throw
misleading
sports
people.
betting into this mix. That's a alternative way to grow your money that's super risky.
Yeah.
Just look at Beanie Babies.
Beanie Babies. Yep. It's really, yeah, it's easy to put together a fake one if you don't know what you're looking at. So, yeah, that's the other thing too, is just for
Well,
these, you want to stick
your
to what
real
you know.
knowledge
You want to
matters.
stick to what you're passionate about and can grow your sort of knowledge base about. because then you have a smaller chance of getting screwed over.
If you're buying something because you heard about it on the news, you're too
Yep.
late.
Well, that's 20 minutes.
Oh, no, actually, it's 20 minutes and 20 seconds. Sleep good.
Sleep good.